Right, you lovely people, explain the matters raised by the audit senior, which should be brought to the attention of the audit committee. So what should we tell the audit committee about? Okay, this is a company, by the way, who deal in recycled paper products in their printing, etc. So what things should we tell the audit committee? So, first of all, property revaluation. So the company currently uses cost for their properties, but during the audit, the manager said they're considering a change of accounting policy so that properties will be recognised at fair value. So they're going for the revaluation policy. So what would we tell the audit committee about revaluations? So first thing you want to tell them is that a change in accounting policy is a significant matter. And they need to be aware of the effects of this. So the effect would be presumably increased depreciation, constant monitoring of fair values because of the need to evaluate to fair value, and obviously the cost of the revaluation as well. So just make them aware of some of the things of an accounting policy, what they should do. Non-current asset register. The audit of non-current assets was delayed by a week. We had asked for the non-current asset register reconciliation to be completed by the client prior to the commencement of audit procedures, but it seems the person responsible went on holiday, forgetting to prepare it. So the non-current asset register reconciliation. Reconciliation asked for, delay. We're telling the audit committee because it's important, because this means the audit is delayed. This means a less efficient audit. This means a more costly audit. We need to tell them all of these things because we don't want it to happen again. Not only do we want to tell them why it's taken as longer, but we don't want it to happen again, particularly as we asked in the first place. You had a question as to why it happened when we already asked, what is the point of planning if people are going to ignore us? I don't know if anything else was said there. Yeah, this happened on last year's audit as well, and was discussed with the audit committee at that time as well. Okay, so happened previous year. Why steps weren't taken? Okay, next one. Procurement procedures. Notice how what I'm doing here, I'm taking the point. The examiner's making it really easy. She's given us the point. She just says, tell the audit committee about this. But what I'm saying is why I'm telling the audit committee. That's where the marks are going to come from. Give it a little bit more depth. So the procurement procedures. We found during our testing of trade payables that an approved supplier list is not maintained, and invoices received are not always matched back to goods received notes. So, what should we call this? Procurement. So on the procurement, no approved supplier list. Invoice not checked back to goods received note. Okay, these are control issues. The audit committee is in charge of the internal audit, who are in charge of internal control. But we don't just say, look, there are control issues. We say why it's a problem. So, with no approved supplier list, it all depends on the company, So this company is a company of recycled material. Now, if you don't have a proper approved supplier, you're getting anybody. And I'd be worried about their integrity. Do they really, businesses that have recycled products, then they tend to really care about where the stuff comes from. So there could be anybody, and is it really recycled? So that's the issue that you want to be making them aware of. Similarly, if you're paying invoices with no goods received note, there's a couple of issues. One, you might be paying for things you haven't received. And two, you might be paying fictitious audits, fictitious invoices, the risk of fraud. That's why we're telling them. So it's that expansion of it. This was mentioned to the procurement manager, who said the suppliers are switched often depending on who's the cheapest, so it'd be difficult to maintain. So again, in here, is cheapest the most vital thing when you're a company such as this? Super. Final one then. The financial controller, Mia, Willow's financial controller, owns a holiday home overseas. It appears that she offered the audit team free use of the holiday home. Yay, for the audit team. Not really. For 3 weeks after the audit, as a reward for their hard work. She also bought them lunch on most days. So I think the use of the holiday home by the financial controller is obviously a threat to our objectivity. Why do we tell the audit committee? It's not enough to put in the exam, just tell the audit committee. Why am I telling the audit committee? So they can inform the staff the reasons why this should not happen. Okay, the threats to the objectivity. And I would say the lunch is okay. It's a much weaker threat. Okay, not significant enough to worry about. So not significant enough, therefore, to inform the audit committee about. Okay, that's how you answer the question. It was in briefing notes as well, if you'd done the whole question. Remember, briefing notes to, from, introduction, which reflects the question, a conclusion, and headings in between. I have been doing the headings for you. Okay, that was it.